Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conor Talk of the Day. Today I'm here with my first guest, Sam.
Hi.
Yeah.
Should I say more?
No,
You got
that's
this,
good.
right?
No.
Oh, okay,
No,
cool,
this
cool.
we're rolling.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Well, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, I have a couple things that I want to talk about today, especially with you. You know, this ties in, I swear. I've noticed this about you. One of my favorite things about you is you are very genuine.
Thank you. I like that.
Like when I see you have conversations with people and they're just blabbing on nonsense, like you genuinely listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I feel
try.
like that's like a very like what is that, low lying quality? Like people wouldn't just pick that out.
Yeah,
low
that's
lying
fair.
is not the right word. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean it's something I try to do. Like, I don't really know where it comes from without going to deep intensive therapy about it. But no, I mean if someone's gonna talk to me about whatever it is, if it's someone at work going off about literally nothing important, I don't know. I still think it's important to give them your full divided energy because it just doesn't seem right to let someone talk at you for so long and then ask them for something later or expect them to listen to you as well. So it's not something I do actively though either, honestly.
Me too. Like I try to listen without expectations.
Yeah.
Or like give without expectations.
Yes. Yeah, that's important.
I feel like I never really even think about it either. It's just something I do.
Yeah, I don't know if I've always done it or if it's like a recent thing since I've kind of grown up a little bit, but yeah, I don't know, listen to someone when they talk to you. They're not talking for like totally no reason.
I think it's the people pleaser in me.
I don't think I have that trait. No, I think I've grown out of it. Maybe at one point I did, but I think I come from such a deep anxiety ridden place that if someone's going to take time out of their day, even if it's to tell me a story about like a person that I haven't even met before, they're probably telling it for a reason, or they're trying to feel something about it, or they're just saying it so they can kind of hear it out loud to get to a certain end. And yeah, I'll listen to you say that. I'll do that. Go right ahead. That's fine with me.
No, that's a great quality. I've picked that up over it, and it's just like little moments too. Like I could see somebody blabbing on about whatever at work, and you're contributing to the conversation.
I try to. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's like a thing that people notice. It's good, or at least that you've noticed.
You're welcome. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about. So you wrote a book.
I did.
Plug, whatever.
Yeah, it's not actually up for sale anymore. I took it down.
I know, but
so I wrote it in May. I released it in May, June-ish of 2022. And it all started because it was a random Monday in the middle of the night at like 1:30 in the morning or something, and I just broke up with my boyfriend at the time. And it wasn't like, I don't know, I've been in like abusive and traumatic relationships before, but that one wasn't it. I was not dating the right person by any means. I was not getting anything that I could have asked for. And one day I just cracked and like called him in the middle of the night and was like, no, we're not doing this anymore. Like, you're done, I'm done, let's call it. And we both know where this is going and it's absolutely fucking nowhere. So I did that, and I've never been someone with a lot of friends. I've always kept a very, very small circle. And at that time, I didn't really feel like I had anyone to talk to about this. And it was literally the middle of the night, so I wasn't about to wake anyone up to do it. So I just started furiously writing about the relationship and, kind of thinking about everything that I didn't get in that relationship, but also everything that I learned from it and what it brought me. And I needed to date that person for exactly when I did and for exactly how long that I did, because it showed me this. So this guy was super emotionally unavailable, like would not bend even a little bit for anyone. Everything was revolving around him. And historically, I dated guys who honestly loved me entirely too much. Like, were weirdly obsessed and really clingy and just not, like, I went from one style of attachment to the total opposite overnight. So that's what this guy taught me. And because of that, I started thinking about every other situation I had been in, and like, when you write it down all on paper, it's really sad to look at the stuff that you've put up with in relationships and from people that are supposed to be loving you. And I kept kind of finding like a common thread through all of those stories, which was the women in my life that I've met over the years it was like 16 to 23, and how they were the ones who pulled me out of all of it. Like, I would be absolutely nowhere without the people that I met in university and the women that I surrounded myself with. So it was nice to write that all out. And the more I wrote about it, the more I was like, what if we published this for fun?
Yeah.
Like, what if I had a physical copy of my love life to date, and then it shuts the door completely and I can move on and grow up and it'll be fine. So I published my diary, basically.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cathartic in the moment, and it's a little embarrassing to look back on now, but I still stand by everything I wrote in there. And
I mean, as somebody who's read it, like, I thought it was super interesting.
thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
I love hearing people's stories, and it was just like, and especially from somebody who had known you, like, from a distance.
And not for very long either. Eh?
Yeah. It was great insight into how Sam became the Sam she is today.
Yeah, I was talking, I just got my hair done by another one of our coworkers, and I was talking to her about it, and every few seconds she'd be like, wait, what? You did that? And I sort of forget that I have this whole other life that like nobody really knows about. So it's really interesting to have it all laid out on paper like that, because it really did close the chapter for me. Like, I have not thought twice about, going back to those people, because I think everyone kind of toys with that idea.
Yeah.
No matter how long ago the relationship was, you're kind of like, oh, what if I hit up my high school boyfriend again, see if he still likes me?
That.
Like, and that's not going to get anyone anywhere positive, but it really just helped. It helped me prioritize what I wanted in the next relationship that I was going to get in, and it helped me kind of pick out my patterns and, what sort of tricks I tend to fall for and how I get fucked over from them. So it was nice. And then just to really have a moment to highlight and like glorify the women in my life who have been there through all of that, and who, didn't necessarily feel comfortable kind of getting in my head in the moment, but revealing to me everything that they thought was wrong, or, their perception of the relationship after the fact. It was so important and super helpful.
Yeah. I did notice that. Like, the book starts off as like talking about your exes.
Yeah.
And then it switches to all your friends.
Yeah.
And I really liked the contrast between them, I guess. And then you tied it all in together.
So the title was I Am a Mosaic, and it, essentially, like, through the writing process, I hadn't thought about a title at all until the end of it. It's like I finished writing it and I was like, oh shit, I guess I gotta name this thing now. Like, might be helpful if I want to publish it and everything. And the common thread through all of that was that I am not as independent as I thought I was, and I've come to be because of all of the people in my life that I've loved. So what I am is a mosaic of the people that have been in my life, and whether they're still there or whether they left whenever whenever on the timeline. So it was sort of just like a conclusion that I am an amalgamation of everyone that's impacted me.
Yeah. I really like that. For me, so these podcasts started originally was just me, like, I don't know what had happened, but I had recorded something personal, and it was kind of just like me journaling, because I can't write for shit. And I just posted it on my Snapchat story, and then people were like, whoa, this was like kind of interesting to see how you think. And then I kept doing it. And then eventually I came up with the intro, the Conor Talks. And yeah, it kind of just evolved. And getting to your like a amalgamation of everybody you've met. I have this thing, and it's got to be like something in me that makes me want to be memorable, but legacy is a really big thing to me. And not just legacy like when I die I want to give my kids my car or whatever like that. Legacy as in like when the Vikings talk about like, oh, Jacques the Bold, like some shit like that. Like, I want, when I'm 50 years old and I have grandchildren or whatever, like, I want the people that I've met throughout my life to be able to be like, I may have met Conor one time, but it was like an important time. Like, okay, this got brought up the other day. I went on, I had met this chick one time. I was just longboarding around one of our bars, and some chick just screamed, "I need dick."
Oh.
And then I yelled back, "Me too." And I ended up getting her snap that night. And then the next night
Good for you.
Yeah, the next night we went to the bar together.
Oh, nice.
And we ended up walking home, and we were like dancing in sprinklers and stuff.
Oh, that's cute.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've never talked to that woman since, but I have the feeling that that was like I like to think that that was like an important memory.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I don't know. I'm not sure if people sort of neglect this or if it's really not actually that important as I'm making it to be, but I think we all have these interactions and these moments with people where you sort of create a whole universe with them, and it could be like, it could be one night, it could be 2 months, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
But you have that little world that you're isolated in, and that's such an important thing to carry with you, because even like, so 10 years ago, I was on vacation with my parents, and
story time.
I met this guy who is like clinically beautiful, like absurdly beautiful, still is, was then, and we had become friends because it was for my dad's work conference, so there's always like little conference kids hanging around. So I was 15 and so was he, and we kind of hung out a little bit, and it meant like nothing, right? Like we were with 5 or 6 other people the whole time, but I remember having this moment with him that there's no way he thinks of it as fondly as I do, but I'll never forget it because of how powerful it felt. And those little isolated moments are so important to kind of keep you going. And I think that brings in your legacy more than maybe like a long-standing friendship or a long-standing relationship that didn't really go anywhere. And I will never forget, because the last night on the trip, we were all playing beer pong and water pong because we were 15 and trying to get beer from different places, and they wouldn't serve us. So everyone else had sort of gone off to like check on something, I don't know, but we were alone at the pool and we were filling up the cups together, and suddenly we just dropped everything and he kissed me. And I don't know where that came from. Oh, 15-year-old Sam was losing her fucking mind. It was insane. But I'll never forget that moment because it was so out of the blue, and it was truly just like, oh, we're throwing everything down and just going for it and like savoring the moment. And I can't imagine he's forgotten about it, but I remembered that. And, you know, we went on to have like relatively negative interactions together afterwards, but that moment is how I'll remember him forever.
See, that is what I'm talking about. Like, I like to think, especially with my friends, we've made all these little core moments. Like, me and Zach have gone through the list and tried to rank all of our moments.
That's cute.
Yeah. Like, I think legacy in that sense is really important to me, but it weighs on me a lot. I don't know if you feel that. Like, I have to make every moment I spend with somebody, like, intense and, like, utterly real.
I think I do that too.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think of the legacy aspect of it. It's, you know, the question, it's always played at like random, you know, card question games. But would you rather be famous or infamous?
Yeah.
And I've always said I'd rather be infamous because I just, like, your impact matters. I think more so after you're gone or after you've moved on from a place, whether it be like you're moving towns or dying.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's been an active thing in my mind, honestly, but I look back at those memories fondly, and I assume that the other person may not be thinking of that exact moment, but another one, like, I don't know, I feel like legacy is very much up to, it's like in the eye of the beholder type of thing.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Legacy's in the eye of the beholder. I think because legacy, when I think about it, has to do a lot with memories. And when you think about, like, memories, like, I think about, like, my past relationships and stuff. I haven't had very many relationships, so I've talked about this before, but I have had, like, some really good and important moments with some amazing people. And, like, I remember driving home from, it's like an hour away, and we'd just drive through the back roads listening to music, and I got her hooked on some amazing music, and she still listens to it this day.
Yeah, honestly, like, I think I don't know why I'm not thinking of it as a legacy thing, but I love when I make my mark on someone like
Yeah,
that. Like
right?
when I change someone's music tastes
Yeah.
and like I impact that, it kills me. I feel like I've done my job
Yeah.
as like a person to person interaction.
Exactly.
When I do things like that. And I don't know, people always say like it's the situationships that ruin your life, not the relationships. Like you'll remember the situationship more than the relationship, and fuck is that ever true.
It is.
But the way that people can impact your life, and I guess in turn your legacy too, is it's just like you're so malleable until suddenly you're not.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's weird to be in that sort of in between space. And I feel like I might be there right now.
Where you're malleable, or
where I'm not malleable anymore.
Okay,
necessarily.
yeah,
I think
get it.
And I don't know if that's like, have you gotten to a point of like self-actualization, or if you're like, is that just growing up? I don't know. But I hope not. But I don't know. I find I used to be really, really easily influenced by the people that would kind of come and go into my life. Like I had mentioned in my book, you know, my taste in music was 100% impacted by the first guy I ever dated. And I mean, incidentally, he was also the person that did the most damage ever. But you know, it's somehow like I might not make the same mistakes as I did in that relationship, but I will always remember that, like, oh, you introduced me to my favorite band when we were like 14 before we even dated. But are the people that I date, you know, in my mid 20s and late 20s in the future, is that gonna change me as much as the first people did?
It's gotta.
I hope so.
Think about like women who are like 35 and then they get divorced.
Yeah. But is that a midlife crisis?
Oh, it might be. No, you're right.
Maybe it's both. I don't know.
See, I like to think that to live is to love.
Yeah.
I'm really good at giving my love to people, but I'm horrible at taking it.
Mm.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm similar, honestly. I think, so last year I was in the situationship that wrecked me, absolutely destroyed me. After that, I think I became so unbelievably guarded that I didn't even want to give love out, because I knew that the people that I had historically chosen would just kind of take and would like whittle me down until I was what they wanted me to be, and then were disappointed somehow that I was that way after all of that. So now it's interesting because I'm more willing to receive it than I am to give it.
I think I'm transforming the opposite way.
Yeah.
When I first moved back here from Alberta, I was like you wouldn't, I was unrecognizable. I was like a fucking brick wall.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think anybody could get to me. And then it took like years of people just constantly trying with me. Then I finally kind of let in. And now I'm where I am now. And like, I'm a big softie. And
yeah, you are a big softie, for sure.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the relationship that I'm in now, it's, you know, obviously very positive, like, you know, all the details off mic and everything, but it took like 4 to 5 months of him just trying to get me to let the guard down for me to even be willing to try.
I think that's love, man.
Oh, it is. Like, no question about it. This is like a totally different kind of love than I've ever felt before. And I mean, he knows that. I know that. Everyone around me seems to know it before I even do. So, yeah, but I want to say 5 months of any time he would compliment me, I'd be like, oh, God, don't. Like, fuck, that's so gross. And I specifically made him wait. So I think we matched on Tinder on New Year's Eve. And I love like,
this story.
Oh, it's so great. We matched on Tinder on New Year's Eve. I went home with someone else that night. Couple weeks later, we go out on our first date. And then the next day, we end up running into each other again at the place that we went to our first date on 2-4. And we were both on different dates. We just happened to run into each other again. So after all of that, we kind of keep talking, and we have this moment where we're like, yeah, okay, like, this isn't going to go anywhere. Like, we're just going to be friends. And then I think 2 weeks later, we said, I love you. So it all segued super fast. But I remember telling him, I was like, you have to wait till after March 13th. Because that was a year before that was the date that I had left my ex-boyfriend.
Oh,
and so
okay.
I was like, no, I'm not doing anything less than 1 full calendar year single.
Yeah,
doing my thing, living my best life. And it was like, I don't know, only maybe a week before that or something, but I was like, fuck, time just go by faster. Like, Jesus Christ, I just want to be with this person already. So I was sort of limiting myself there, but I mean, you know,
I guess
it's whatever.
This kind of leads me into my next question. I love talking about this. Like, I guess I'll start. My question would have, or is going to be, what you think about love. Like, what do you think love is? Because to me, love is like purely unconditional, and it's like all consuming. Like, you know how in The Office, this is a horrible reference, but Michael Scott, when he meets Holly, he wants to tell her he loves her. The first interaction,
he immediately knows. Yeah.
That to me, that is love. When I meet somebody that I know I'm gonna love, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be an instant, like, I see you from across the room, and I can't help but lock my eyes on you. Like, you're the only person I can see.
I like that. That's soft.
Yeah, thanks.
I think, honestly, until this relationship, I don't think I'd ever experienced unconditional love. 'Cause even, like, family-wise, I don't have a big family at all. We're only in contact with, like, 25% of my family tree. And that 25% is not anywhere near us geographically, and not always, you know, the easiest people to open up to by any means. And with my parents, I was always kind of put in that role of like, oh, you're the oldest, so you are hyper independent. I have a chronically ill brother, so, you know, I am always independent. I've been, you know, I felt like I've been 25 since I was 12. And I'm not even 25 yet now. So I don't think I'd ever really experienced unconditional love before I met my current partner. But to me, it's like, love is comfort. It's pure comfort and the ability to literally do and say whatever and still feel love for the person afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time my partner, like, farted in front of me, all I did was laugh. And I've had people do that, obviously, before. You know, I've been in long-term relationships.
Okay.
And every time they did it, I was like, ew. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why isn't your guard up? Why are you farting in front of me? And this guy did it, and I couldn't help but just laugh at the fact that, like, it was obviously accidental. Did not know I was in the room.
Yeah.
But that was such a funny and, like, easy kind of just good moment between the two of us. And, yeah, love is comfort to me, I think.
Interesting. What love is consuming to me.
Oh, it's definitely consuming.
Yeah.
For sure. I think, I don't know, it's... Right now, I feel like it's a balance between consuming and I don't need you in my life, but I actively really fucking want you in my life.
Okay, one thing that me and Zach talk about a lot is he thinks a relationship is going to complement his life. I think a relationship is like that's, I gotta I gotta make sure this person is well... is like, that person is treated so well.
Yeah.
I guess that seems obsessive, but I don't mean it in an obsessive sense.
No, I mean, I've seen you interact in relationships, and you mean it very well. Like, I think you're a big caretaker.
I try to be, yeah.
I think I'm the same way. I really want to make sure, I want to make sure someone else's needs are met to a point where I forget that I even have needs.
Yeah.
So it's nice now to be in a relationship where my partner does that for me and I do that for him.
Right.
And we kind of don't even notice it, honestly.
And that's how I think it should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Huh. Well, that was half an hour, 23 minutes.
Oh, shit.
But that was good.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to end it there.
I like that. That's good.
All right. I forgot, I had a closing line, but I forgot it, so I'll just go, ladies and gentlemen, that was the show. Da 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 da.
Buy my new book in January.
There you go.
Perfect.